3 celebrities. Send them off to a remote house in the country. Then seal them in. With no computers, TVs, newspapers or mobile phones, they'll be completely cut off from the outside world. So how will they know what's been going on while they've been in the bubble?
Good evening, I'm David Mitchell and welcome to The Bubble, the show where we ask 3 celebrities to spend the week completely cut off from the outside world. No newspapers, no TV, no internet, nothing. So they haven't heard the news this week that Bill Gates is no longer the world's richest man after he foolishly emailed his bank details to a Nigerian businessman. Anyway, let's see how they've been coping with the isolation.
So don't worry, be happy.
As you can see, they're in some distress, so we'd better let them out. But before we set them free, we're going to show them a selection of news reports. Some of them are genuine, some of them have been faked. But will they be able to tell the difference? So let's meet tonight's guests, straight from the bubble. Please welcome Julia Hartley-Brewer, Marcus Brigstocke and Sue Perkins. Welcome to you all. Just to confirm, you've seen nothing in the news all week?
No. And news for us has been, what kind of cake is it today?
Yeah. Oh, right.
I have been fed like a suckling pig for slaughter this week. It's been wonderful.
Oh, so you've heard about round 4?
Yeah.
The karaoke after that lovely version of Don't Worry, Be Happy sort of gained momentum and we did accidentally crack another one of Sue's ribs.
Yeah. Sue, your experience in the bubble was delayed by a week.
Yes,
wasn't it?
it was.
Because Andy Hamilton pushed you down some stairs.
He did, yeah. I fell over my own foot, David.
It's good that you're such a committed comedian that you still do slapstick in private. And have you thought about what news you've been hoping might have happened while you've been away?
Has Abu Hamza been officially announced for Dancing on Ice yet?
Well, I can't tell you. That could come up.
If I look pleadingly at you and I can notice the dilation in your eyes in a sort of Derren Brown way, I can see that's not happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think when you say in a Derren Brown way, of course, that's how he says he does his tricks, but in fact, he's a conjurer.
I thought you were going to call him something else entirely. I was just told not to use the C word. That's just bizarre.
The C word in this case, conjurer.
Conjurer.
He's a massive conjurer.
To be honest, it means the same thing.
So, let's begin. I'm about to show you a selection of TV reports and newspaper articles from recent days. All you have to do is decide which are the real stories and which are the fakes. So let's start with some TV news stories. You're going to see 3 news reports, but only one of them was genuinely reported on the TV news while you were inside the bubble. The other 2 are fakes. Can you spot the real story? Let's have a look at story A.
At just 4 foot 5 inches tall, Jamie Legg's more used to being bowled over than doing the bowling himself. Jamie's one of 6 dwarfs acting as the pint-sized pins in the UK's first ever dwarf bowling competition in Rochdale on Saturday night. Competitors will use special oversized plastic balls and there are 6 pins, or dwarves, to knock over. But the country's smallest people have sparked a giant human rights debate. Human rights campaigners want the game banned outright.
It's nothing more than a 6 stunt. Dwarf throwing was rightly outlawed by Parliament in the 1990s, and it's a sad indictment of our society that this sort of thing still goes on. So we're calling on Rochdale Council to stop this event from happening.
But the dwarves say it's just one way for them to get work in a tall person's world.
Just coming off plan 2, work is very slack. So you can take a walk as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I want the money, I need the money.
So far, there's no reaction from the council, so Saturday's competition looks like it will go ahead. And if it does, Jamie says he's ready for whatever comes his way.
The dwarves aren't too worried about being hit by the ball. It's those metal pincers that come and pick them up by the head that they're really scared of.
Why are they practising the throwing element when ultimately they're going to have things hurled at them? Is it just a sick...
Anyone can do falling down, Sue, can't they?
Well, I think, yes, I mean, that wasn't obviously the dwarf bowling event. That was just him
A little taster.
recreationally enjoying normal non-dwarf bowling.
My query about it is I don't think it's the first time that event's taken place. That's such a good idea that would have happened before.
Throwing objects at little people.
Oh, yeah. We do it in my house. What's the point of having kids otherwise?
I'm very convinced by this. I think that must definitely be real.
I've got tickets.
Well, just in case it's not, do you want to have a look at...
No, I don't need to go any further.
Sorry, you'll have to pointlessly look at Report B.
Sea levels. Many experts predict they could rise dramatically over this century, spelling the end for island provinces like the Maldives and Micronesia. But new research from the Scripps Institute of Oceanography has shown that recent seismic activity could be countering any man-made change to ocean levels by creating a deep trench in the Pacific Ocean floor. Scientists have examined the fault line between the Pacific Plate and the Antarctic Plate using Roger, their unmanned geological surveying submarine.
The Pacific Plate is descending, going down into what we call a subduction zone, and it goes down and it forms a trough on the seabed, creating a space into which new sediments and water can come.
By 2100, it's predicted the newly created Pacific Trench should be able to accommodate up to 3 million cubic kilometres of water. If this happens, it'll be enough to offset all but the most extreme projections for global rising sea levels, easing the fears of those worried by climate change.
Marcus, what do you make of that?
Yes. Well, as someone who's been something of a busybody where climate change is concerned, using it as little more than an excuse to wag my finger at people who I didn't like anyway. I'm not convinced by the science of it on account of that would mean that some new land had appeared somewhere else in order to make a substantial size of trench. It would mean that a new hill would have to form above sea. And as far as I'm aware, there aren't any new hills that have been reported, but perhaps there have been in the last few days. So I think it's a massive load of old bollocks.
They basically... Scientifically
speaking.
Yeah.
I mean, hills can... I mean, isn't Iceland sort of appearing?
No, Iceland is arguably, or Greenland, this is so dull, I'm going to shut up.
If only this had happened last week.
Wow.
Yeah, so you've had a lot of discussions in the House about climate change.
We did a lot of topics.
They argued and argued and argued. And at night, I drugged them, got into their beds and told them the truth in their ears.
I like to think of it... I thought of it as sexual tension. No, we did a lot of topics. We did... Yeah. We did a lot of topics. We did politics, world religion... No, we did a lot of topics. We did world religions, astrology, the environment, politics, Europe, and that was before we'd left Zone 1.
Well, hopefully we can return to all, if not none, of those topics later. So let's have a look at Report C.
Theirs has been a love affair which has enthralled France and the wider world. Carla Bruni and her French president controversially met and married within 3 months. A famed supermodel, a successful singer-songwriter, and always in the public eye. But now their fairy tale marriage is under scrutiny, with rumours that both are having an affair. Their pasts are no doubt colourful. Carla is Sarkozy's third wife, and she famously dated Mick Jagger and Eric Clapton. Whatever the truth of the rumours, leading French commentator Jacques Roland says the French public might not find the situation as scandalous as their neighbours across the channel.
In the case of Sarkozy, if it was known that he had affairs on the side, people would say, well, that's normal, that's par for the course, it's typical of him, is it a go-getter who needs to be reassured, and he obviously has a fairly strong sex drive, so that's fine. If I was like him and in his shoes, I would do the same.
It seems President Sarkozy is certainly gaining a reputation for mixing his politics with so much showbiz and so much pleasure.
So Nicolas Sarkozy said to be sleeping with his ecology minister. Just imagine Gordon Brown shagging Ed Miliband. So, is looking plausible?
He seemed overly French, that commentator. You know.
So you think we just hired some extra from a lower low?
I've said it from the beginning, there's only one story here which rings true. And that is the little people getting smashed.
And you don't mean Sarkozy at a party?
If sea levels do rise significantly, it is the little people who will suffer the most.
Well, I think the time has come to vote. Is it A, dwarf bowling night planned in Rochdale?
Yes.
B, a giant trench is forming in the Pacific? Or C, Nicolas Sarkozy and Carla Bruni are both rumoured to be having affairs? Which is the real story? Please vote A, B or C now. Sue and Julia, you've gone for B, the giant trench. And Marcus, you've gone for Sarkozy's affair. And I have to say, Marcus, you're right.
Yay.
Well done.
So is there a big furore about the Sarkozy and Brunner having a...
Well, it's been in a lot of the papers. The rumours have abounded about these affairs, but according to The Independent, they may have begun as a hoax by a trainee journalist who wanted to see how easy it was to get an unverified assertion from Twitter into the mainstream media. Meanwhile, in other parts of the media, they're saying Sarkozy chartered a plane to bring Bruni back from Thailand, where she was with her alleged lover.
Can I say, I would be very touched if my husband was willing to charter a plane to remove me from the arms of a French scarf-wearing man.
There was one that arrived at the house, to be honest, but I sent it packing. You know,
right.
What with all that chemistry between you and me.
Too hot to handle. What a gooseberry I felt.
I sort of hope that it's true, because I think Carla Bruni was a bit of a nightmare for poor old Sarkozy. Remember last year she makes him jog and diet, and he fainted when he was jogging because he's so tired.
The President of France is hardly full-time, is it? I mean, the French are not really willing to do anything if they don't want to. So as president, you go, could we maybe do something? And they go, no. And he goes, no. OK, I will go for a run and fuck this beautiful woman.
Two of you thought that the giant trench forming beneath the Pacific was real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fairness, Julia ought to get a point because she does work for the Express and they have to contractually deny that climate change may be a problem at any opportunity. Yeah. So she really had no choice.
She's done well even interfacing with the question, to be honest.
So what?
Please don't make this go on any longer than necessary.
Look, I've not been in the house. I need to catch up. You don't think
what kind of cake is it now?
The planet is not getting warmer, David.
It's a rather bitter cake of facing the truth.
It was a very... It was a very...
bitter Battenberg of environmental responsibility for you. So you reckon there's no climate change?
I'm not going there.
You're not going there?
No. Not going there.
You're not going to say whether or not you believe in
because
climate
we'll get to
change.
fisticuffs again, it'll go horribly wrong, and then we'll have to do karaoke
I only hit
again.
You once. I only hit you once.
Well, at the end of that round, only Marcus gets a point.
Shame.
OK, next we move on to the newspapers. 3 stories, and again, only one of them genuinely did feature in the newspapers while you were inside the bubble. The other 2 are fakes. Can you tell the difference? Here is story A. Here we have the shock news that Gordon Brown asked to appear on Match of the Day 2, but had his offer rejected by the programme. Presumably they were worried he'd bring down the mood after the Hull v Bolton highlights package.
That's Adrian Charles in the middle, is it?
Yeah.
Who's the fella in the green shirt?
I think he played for Arsenal or something.
All right.
I think he did. Is that right?
Yeah.
So
I don't get extra points for that.
This is now getting to that round in question of sport where you have to recognise a sportsman while he makes a piece of toast. So you go, I think that's well-known jockey, somebody who knows.
You have never watched A Question of Sport, ever?
Of course I've watched A Question of Sport ever. I grew up in the 1980s, where what you did as a child was watch whatever was on television, even if it was a question of sport. Sitting there thinking, what am I doing? Who's Willie Carson? Don't understand.
And why aren't people bowling him?
Yeah. Shall we have a look at story B?
Yeah.
This is the news that up to 150 highly dangerous criminals may have been released from jail as a result of the Ministry of Justice mixing up a list of prisoners to be released early with a list of highly dangerous criminals. On the plus side, they are highly dangerous criminals with a history of being caught, so...
Which do you think came first? Being criminal or having a face of a criminal? With those faces, what are they going to do?
I don't think that headline has ever been written.
It's a slightly ponderous sort of headline
Yep.
for a story that serious. If that were in the Mail, they'd have just gone with, "Oh, I knew this would happen if you didn't kill them."
Well, let's have a look at story C, then, which is the news that Sir David Frost fell asleep while on air.
So, is that how many Zs are in Al Jazeera? I suppose they're just adding it for Zidding comedy effect. Is that what they've done there? Is that the hilarity of the...
Yes, I think the way they've spelled Al Jazeera there,
Fabulous.
Sue, I can tell you as a professional comedian, is hilarious. I think it's time to vote. Is it A, Match of the Day 2 turned down an appearance request from Gordon Brown, B, Ministry of Justice mistakenly released dangerous criminals, and C, Sir David Frost falls asleep on his own TV show? Vote A, B or C now, please. Oh, right. Two of you, Sue and Julia, both gone for David Frost falling asleep.
Oh, no, not again.
And Marcus has gone for Match of the Day 2 turning down Gordon Brown. Well, once again, Marcus, you're
no.
right.
That was my second choice.
It emerged this week that last November, Gordon Brown approached Match of the Day 2 and asked to go on, and that early on was refused by the BBC because they thought it might infringe their impartiality in the run-up to the election. However, I should mention at this point, for the sake of impartiality, that the other two party leaders are also twats. In fact, Cameron has also been on TV this week. Do you know who he's been on with?
The Lord Sith.
No.
His mentor in life and also death. In the worlds of Hades and beyond.
There are always two.
Yeah, they come as a pair.
Now, you're close, though. Alan Titchmarsh.
The gardening Sith.
There are more...
The third unknown gardening Sith. Now, none of you went for the Ministry of Justice's cock-up, did you?
I just thought maybe there would be one week where it didn't happen. Just, you know, I think it's more likely to be the week it didn't.
They look like a pretty unlikely gang to me. It said this gang of dangerous criminals. They look... putting those four people together.
They are actually all four people who work for the production company that make this programme. You may have been slagging off or complimenting a future channel controller.
Hi.
Can I just say, bottom left, I don't care whether you become the head of the BBC, you look like a right wrong-un.
Yeah.
So, and Julia, you believed that David Frost had fallen asleep on his own show?
Oh, completely.
Poor old David Frost. He does look tired, doesn't he?
Very
absolutely worn out.
dull.
Yeah.
Maybe just for a second his ears had opened up to hear the drivel that funnels out of his own mouth long enough for him to render himself unconscious. What? Oh.
On his show, when he asks people to you know, email in their thoughts, they're all just, "You all right, mate?"
Al Jazeera are famous for getting all of the first tapes from Al-Qaeda. And David Frost is famous for securing interviews with people who won't otherwise give interviews with anyone. So I hope he stays awake and alive long enough to get that cave-side interview with bin Laden and then goes really soft on him.
Inevitably, he gets an interview with bin Laden and just asks him about his new book.
And what...
Tell me about the
Got any
normal
pets?
bin Laden day. You wake up in the morning, what do you have for breakfast?
Well, anyway, at the end of that round, once again, Marcus gets a point. So, you three have been living together all week. What did you do?
We went for a very
lot.
bracing walk across the Lincolnshire fields,
And
which was nice.
Occasionally, a bird would just come out and, of the hedgerow, and Marcus would go, woodcock or pheasant.
We watched quite a few episodes of The Wire, so for a lot of the time while we were in there, we did all talk as if we were Baltimore drug dealers.
We have a bit of that when you were playing poker.
Okay.
Let's have a look at that.
OK, 1, 2, 3.
It's magic.
Bully.
Feel that? My gosh.
Do you feel me? I'm
Oh
like,
my
all over
gosh. And then ace came down on the flop. You feel me though?
So you have three.
With two face
You have
cards up, innit?
three aces.
There is a possibility that someone in the house has been watching an episode of The Wire today.
Look at the stack there now. Words you don't hear every day are
From
look
about
at the
me
stack
on
on
Perkins.
Well, I'm very impressed, actually. Every week, people have... It was like, last week they played bridge, the week before Scrabble. People, It's genuinely... You're sort of making your own entertainment, like in the old days.
The thing I didn't understand was the house slept, I think, 18, and yet they put us all in the same bedroom.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bit strange.
Right.
Yeah.
Cost me a fortune, but it was worth it.
Anyway, I'm glad you had a nice time.
Thank you.
Fantastic food. Everyone loves
Marvellous.
it. Apart from Jermaine Greer, who was
Don't go
Margie.
there. Don't go
Jermaine Greer
Don't
said that the
go
food was
there.
too salty. Everyone else has liked the food.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what that says about feminism, but... anyway.
Yeah, it gives you a very salty palate.
Moving on, and it's time for a roundup of more news you've missed while you were in the bubble. Have a look at these three quick reports. Story A. A cash-strapped German village has put its many potholes up for sale in order to finance the repair of its crumbling roads.
A pothole costs about 50 euros, and everybody who wants to buy some could buy some.
Story B. Russian Prime Minister Vladimir Putin has put a man in hospital after a judo move went wrong.
This was an unfortunate accident. Prime Minister Putin tried a manoeuvre and his opponent landed badly, sustaining considerable spinal damage.
And story C. Former Deputy Police Commissioner Brian Paddock is going to join the cast of The Bill.
The Bill go to tremendous trouble to make sure everything is authentic. They get things from the police, they find out where the suppliers are, so that everything looks exactly like it does at work.
So, three stories there. Only one of them genuinely featured on TV news reports while you were in the bubble. Other two were fakes. So, Marcus, what do you think about the Paddock story?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think... I'm not sure he'd actually go on the bill, would he?
Wouldn't the election then hit in on that if he's a well-known Lib Dem? Would the same rules apply that, as for Match of the Day and Gordon Brown?
They'd need to find a Tory and a Labour copper.
So sort of Anne Widdecombe in Casualty.
Yeah.
Now, that's a thought.
Yeah. And, Sue, the judo Putin story, how did that...
So he crushed this guy's spine.
He was head of the KGB. I mean, this won't be the first time he's done this.
No. The thing is, I don't believe it, because we know Putin's a nice man, because there was an interview with his wife once, and she said he was a good husband because he doesn't beat me.
Oh.
Sometimes he make judo with me, but always he asks his permission.
Only once he accidentally break my spine. Just accident.
So
my fault for missing matting.
Yeah.
And the potholes story?
I'm quite keen on the idea of sponsoring, because we've got a lot of potholes in the UK now. After the very hard winter, I'd quite like to sponsor a pothole, I think.
Would you?
Yeah, it's the idea of my face lying in the road so that I could tut at people in big cars. Sort of thing we environmentalists enjoy.
Yeah. I'll recap the stories. They are A, that Germans can now sponsor their own pothole.
Oh, yeah.
B, Vladimir Putin puts a man in hospital. Or C, Brian Paddock joins the cast of The Bill.
And how many are true and how many are false?
I
don't know why, I can never remember this.
In this round, Julia,
Yes.
one of them
is
is true again.
There's a pattern developing, isn't there?
OK, you ready to vote?
Yeah.
OK, please vote A, B or C now.
Yes. What's wrong with you people?
Now, come on. No copying. Oh, and you've all gone for the Germans sponsor their own pothole. You're all right.
Yes,
Yeah, 50 euros for your name to be written in concrete as it sets, next to some local lad's drawing of a cock. So how would, Julia, how would The Express have covered that story? Did pothole kill Diana? The Putin judo thing, I thought that was...
Yeah, no, I was very drawn to that.
It is odd, in the way the French like their leaders to be, sort of, to have affairs. The Russians like their leaders to be brutes.
Killers.
Yeah.
Or pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll settle for pissed if not brutish.
Yeah. And, you know, often the two come together.
Yeah. Ah, you've been to a Wetherspoons.
And you didn't go for Paddock.
No.
He'd do anything, Paddock, wouldn't he?
Poor Brian Paddock.
The thing about the bill, the thing that made it seem plausible to me is that only Brian Paddock is someone you imagine would do something like that. The bill is also the most unexceptional television programme ever made, in terms of it being neither loved nor hated by anyone. It's just a normal programme. Is that still going?
Yeah.
I have no opinion. Well, on that note, I'm happy to say that all of you get a point.
Hey!
Now, our final round is on the buzzer. I'll read you some news stories from the last week that may or may not be real. If you're first to buzz, please answer real or fake. If you're right, you win a point. If you're wrong, you lose a point. And I can tell you it's very close at this stage, but Marcus, you're in the lead.
Close.
So, let's begin with... Graffiti artist Banksy has been revealed to be Neil Buchanan from Art Attack.
Fake.
That is fake. A Japanese man has married a pillow. So,
Real.
real. A chef from New York is selling cheese made from his wife's breast milk. Marcus.
Real.
Real.
And delicious. Lady cheese, at last.
In a town in Romania, traffic signs have been put up warning motorists of drunks in the road.
Fake.
It's real. Anna Nicole Smith the Opera is to open at the Royal Opera House next year. Julia.
Fake.
Real. A man from Lancaster has found the face of Jesus in his frying pan. Marcus.
Real. Always real.
Yeah.
Yes, real. And finally, over the last month, John Prescott has received more than 100 anonymous letters which say only, hit me with your rhythm stick.
He got them then. Fake.
That's fake, yes. So the winner is Marcus. Let's have a look at some of the things you got wrong in the quickfire round. Julie, you didn't believe that in Romania they had traffic signs warning motorists against drunks in the road. We actually have the sign, so... Marcus, you rightly believe the story about the man from Lancaster who's found the face of Jesus in his frying pan. We've got a...
Yeah, I mean, you can always rely... Whoever claims they've found the face of Christ in a food or, you know, on a shoe or whatever, they almost always have, on account of they've put it there.
Yeah. But I have to say, I don't think that's true. I think usually when they say they've found the face of Christ, you see something, you go, and you can sort of go, well, I can see what you mean, but that's clearly just random symbols, whereas that's the face of Christ.
Yeah. I'm not Christian, but I think if...
But now, though, you are.
I believe.
Everyone, since you've been in the bubble, everyone saw that. Everyone's Christian now.
But if Christ wanted to send a message or, you know, just an image of his face, do we think, really, that he would choose the base of quite a dirty-looking frying pan in Lancaster?
Well, no, I wouldn't have expected that, but he has.
No, sure, yeah.
Anyway, on that note, thank you to my guests, Sue Perkins, Marcus Brigstocke and Julia Hartley-Brewer. Join me next week, a day earlier, due to sport relief, when coming out of the bubble will be Katie Brand, Josie Long and Nicholas Sarkozy, although I may have made one of those up. Good night.
Charlotte Church and James Corden spend Friday night with Jonathan Ross on BBC One in 5 minutes. While on BBC Three now, the fake tan has got to go. Another dressing down in Snog, Marry, Avoid.